Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast. We're coming to you right after a 2-1 defeat at Brighton in the FA Cup. An injury time winner from the brilliant Karu Mitoma saw the Seagulls pinch the Reds' chips once again. We led through Harvey Elliott and had the moments in a much improved display compared to the mauling on the South Coast a couple of weeks ago, but the home side finished strongest and hence we've lost our grip on the FA Cup. I'm Chris Smith, and to chat through this one I've got Julian Richards and Ian Brown. Dave's not feeling very well and we can't imagine that's made him feel any better. Brownie, this season just feels like one kick in the nuts after another. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, really painful loss, that one. I mean, the final whistle was less than 10 minutes ago. Fucking really pissed off about that. Could have gone either way, couldn't it, in the second half? I was actually quite happy with what we were doing. I thought there was some really good signs, some glimpses of us getting back to our old selves, but it was on a knife edge and it could go either way. And how many games have we had like that over the last few years where we've got over the line and you don't necessarily then end up talking too much about the game itself? You're just talking about a win and run. But when things aren't going for you, you lose those games. It's simple as that. Brighton are in a good run and they've got over the line purely because of that. But it's just so frustrating. So frustrating because, as I say, like we were well in that game. It was a massive improvement on what happened 2 weeks ago. But let's face it, couldn't be any worse, could it? So I don't think we need to necessarily go too over the top about that. But we've lost them without the cup, so it's really difficult to sit here and think of too many positives, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Jules, just before we came on air, we were saying that personally, this hurts me more than the one did a couple of weeks ago. Like a couple of weeks ago, we were well beaten, and it really felt like a low point from which things could only get better. But I thought we played quite well in this game in various stages, as Brownie said there, and quite unlucky to concede that equaliser after we went ahead, and had some good moments in both halves where we could have made it tell but didn't. This one just really, really stings.
Which one's worse? Losing 3-0 comprehensively or getting beaten in the 92nd minute? I think they're both as bad as each other. They're both symptoms of a misfiring, out of form, low on confidence team. I don't think one's any better than the other. We're like putting these little tentative steps together, like, oh, just take a little step. It's like someone who's like, been paralyzed and learning to walk again, and we're like, oh, we took a little step. Oh, great, we took a little step, and then inevitably we fall over, and it's like, well done. Those little steps were pointless. You made it 10 centimeters. Well done. And we're still in the same boat. We're not solid in defence, despite Klopp saying he wants to be more compact. We're still not that solid in defence. And then we are playing like me when I tried to play Michael Owen's World League Soccer 98 on a PlayStation when I didn't know the buttons and the game wasn't very good. And I'm just like passing it out of play and like lashing it over the bar and not getting shots on and not scoring goals. And in the end, I lashed the pad down and fuck this and put actual soccer back on. Because that's how we just, it's all, and then it's like so fragile, so, like glass blowing. Oh, look, we're making our way back. We're not making our way back. This season is going to be like this until it gets to the end. And then hopefully we'll work something out in the off-season. We'll sign some players. We'll freshen up the team, and we'll get the old Usher Eye of the Tiger back, and we'll start to look like we want it again, because it's all so jaded. It's just so jaded and tiring, and I'm bored of watching it now. I mean, this is what happens when you do a pod straight after the game, right? It's like your emotions are at their most raw, and then someone will listen to this on their commute on Monday or Tuesday, and they'll go, well, pushes their glasses up their nose. I think you were actually rather harsh and don't care right now, pissed off right now, annoyed right now, furious that we've allowed ourselves to get into this position right now by not strengthening, not evolving the team when we needed to. And this is the net result. We're looking at like positives, like Bajcetic has played, he's doing all right. And we're going, that's the positive. He was never the plan this season. Never the plan. It's a happy coincidence and bit of luck that he's like come in and done all right. But he wasn't the plan because no one predicted Fabinho would fall off a cliff like that. No one saw that coming. No one saw Henderson getting too old. But no one saw that maybe Thiago sometimes is injury prone, doesn't play all the time. No one saw all this coming. I'm not having that no one saw all of this coming. Maybe the Fabinho one, because that's sensational how far he's fallen off the cliff. Just he should have been red carded today.
Can we talk about him whilst we're on the subject? 'Cause
well, it is a Sunday. It is a Sunday. We do eat Sunday dinners, so it's appropriate that we talk about Fabinho after a roast dinner. Absolutely, you go ahead.
He was on the pitch for 10 minutes, and he was still somehow was our worst player on the day.
He was an absolute disgrace. Like, I was in the group chat saying, "Can we sub him off?" And I wasn't even fucking joking, to be honest with you. How he's got away with that challenge, by the way. It's one of the most clear red cards you'll ever see. It was a shocker of a challenge. And he looked at it, didn't he, for like a couple of seconds while the lad's down injured with his fucking leg hanging off. Absolute disgrace, that. Really bad. I mean, his first touch as well that he had just bounced about 10 yards away from him. He looked like Dirk Kuyt, didn't he, on a bad day? I don't know what he was playing at. Like, to be fair, we need to talk about subs in general, because when Thiago went off, I wasn't that bothered because I thought he was poor. He was doing me head in. But in hindsight, I don't think that helped at all. And then the substitute after that, bringing Fabinho, definitely didn't help. And even Darwin was really poor. Like, I wanted Darwin to start the game, so when he came on, I was like quite excited. There we go, we'll get a little bit of mayhem going. I don't know what he was doing. He just kept giving the ball away, and then when he did get one-on-one, he didn't look confident. Very strange performance from him.
Why didn't he start the game though? Let's talk about that. Like, what the fucking point was? Like, we finally got those three fit, so they in a position where they can start together. This seemed like the perfect time to do that. So it was disappointing and quite annoying to see that Darwin was on the bench again. Like, do you have any insight into or reasoning for why that might be?
It must be the old red zone thing, which is I don't know what the parameters are for that, but that can only be it, right? The red zone thing. But we're all going, oh, he should have started, but he was actually not very good when he came on, so maybe he shouldn't have started. Devil's advocate.
I just think that's probably a symptom. I mean, coming off the bench in any game is more difficult than starting.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I would have wanted him starting. I'm sure Brownie would have wanted him starting too.
Yeah, that was. I was on the way home from kids' football this morning, and I heard the team, and I was like, "What's going on here?" So I assumed he might not be on the bench, and he's picked up a knock. But having looked at it, then no, he was fine to start. So I don't understand it. Same as you, Chris. He should have started, but also agree with Jules. When you actually see what he did when he came on, maybe it was the right decision. I know it's a different context, and you played totally differently when you started.
You can only see what's in front of you, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't play well.
No. And the big problem there as well, when you look at it, just the front three, Mo's not in good form, is he? I mean, look at that one where he's gone through one-on-one. When things are going the way they are for us now, he needs to be putting that away. And it's such a tame finish.